Hi and welcome to Movies Suck. Today I'm covering a story about Mark Ruffalo. Again, I vaguely think I've done this sort of thing before because he's always saying these sorts of crazy things. It's not that it's unusual, I mean, he's a celebrity. That's what these Hollywood celebrities do. They spout crazy left-wing nonsense and then try to sound as if it's actual facts or as if they're doing something great for the world. You're not celebrities, you're just making yourself sound a bit thick, which is to be expected. After all, not everyone's a genius. Well done, Hollywood, you're very, very average. So, Marvel Studios Hulk actor Mark Ruffalo claims toxic Trumpism is killing people. Trump is walking around, shaking hands, and because he's so damn toxic, he's killing all these people. That's why the Chinese had to release the COVID virus. They released it to stop Trump from killing the world by creating social distancing. Well done, the Chinese. You stopped Trump from using his toxicity, touching people and, killing them, as Mark Ruffalo says. Marvel Studios Hulk actor Mark Ruffalo once again took aim at President Donald Trump and his supporters, claiming toxic Trumpism is killing people. It's just killing people. I don't know why or how or what the hell I'm even saying, but it's killing people. Obviously it is. Sorry, Mark. Exactly. How do you mean killing people? I don't know. I'm just saying stuff. You're the one that's supposed to just believe it. Believe, celebrities. Just believe. Okay, Mark. Has anyone got a straitjacket? Mark Ruffalo's comments came on Twitter where he shared a political ad created by Project Lincoln. Ruffalo wrote, "Some Republicans see the writing on the wall. They are delineating themselves from toxic Trumpism." Oh, no, are they? I would play the video, but I'm not going to play the video. If you want to watch the video, you know where to look. I don't like to pander to this left-wing numpties, and I'm not going to play their crap. Not on my channel. The ad was shared to the Lincoln Project's Twitter feed. It reads, "Welcome to this week. Nearly 90,000 American lives have been lost. The virus is still spreading, and Donald Trump continues to deny and deflect, failing the people he was elected to serve." Being someone from the UK, as far as I can see, Donald Trump has pretty much done his best to save people by banning flights from China, which the left suddenly went, "Oh my god, he's being racist against Chinese people. Oh my god, cancel him. Cancel the President of the United States of America, you dumb idiots." They would no doubt be cancelling Donald Trump if he wasn't so influential, trying to slander him all over Twitter and anywhere else they can get their grubby little fingers on a keyboard. The left are pretty sick, and this sort of thing just goes to show how much. As far as I can tell, Trump seems to have done his best. He certainly did a lot better than the UK government did. And the fact that he wants to reopen the economy makes complete sense. After all, the majority of us are going to be absolutely fine, even with this virus. Chinese virus. We're all basically going to be fine. There is a group of people who are at risk, and those people need to be protected. We need to keep our hospital systems as quiet as possible, just in case we have any real problems. But everyone needs to get on with their lives. Everyone needs to do the stuff they do to make money to survive and carry on. The government can't subsidize everyone forever. The money will run out. And you're saying, how can the money run out? How can it? Where is our communist state? I want to be paid for staying at home and doing fuck all. Yes, this is a capitalist world, for the most part, with a few poor, starving exceptions. And we all like to actually achieve. We have goals, we have things we want to do. Working helps us achieve these things. Only a nutter, a left-wing communist nutter, would be happy about the state of the world at present. We need to get everything going again as soon as possible, and we all need to get on with our lives, whilst being careful. It says, the video features a voiceover that states nearly 10,000 more Americans will die. 90,000 deaths and growing. Millions more will file for unemployment. Small businesses are dying. We are not testing enough. It's still spreading. And yet these people want to keep the lockdown in place. The lockdown needs to be gently lifted so that everyone can get back on with things and stop small businesses from dying. Stop millions of people from having to file for unemployment. Stop millions of people starving to death. Which is what is happening in third world countries where they've had a lockdown and people haven't got any money. They don't have a government which is subsidizing them, giving them money so they can buy food and things. That doesn't happen everywhere. Some places people are starving, literally starving to death. I heard numbers somewhere in the region of 15 million people may starve to death if this sort of thing continues. Now, It's fine for us to have this lockdown in place just for a while to try and get over the worst of it, because it only just started. Let's cool it down. Now let's bring things back up. Anything else is just inviting this sort of thing to continue, more people to die. And it's not Trump's fault that this is happening. It's remarkable how I read this article and I didn't see anywhere on here about how the Chinese are to blame. This is the Chinese government's fault. Back when they found out they had this virus and all this was happening, they closed down their internal flights to try and stop this spreading, but they didn't shut down their external flights because they didn't want the rest of us to know. And the WHO just played along like good little puppets, along with all those other big organizations that the Chinese have bought out. It's getting ridiculous that a lot of people still believe this rubbish. The mainstream news sources are mostly talking rubbish and just trying to fearmonger and scare people and keep things under control and make you keep on listening to their news stories about this whole damn thing. It is getting utterly ridiculous. Anyway, it continues. Here's what else is coming this week. He will lie to you over and over. He will tweet instead of lead. He will blame others for his failures. Welcome to this week, and the next week, and the next, and the next, until you do something about it. Hello, activist. Hello. Is that a megaphone you have there? You're shouting nonsense. Shut up. Yes, that's enough. Yeah, no. Just shh. Try to come up with something sensible. Policies, maybe, that might improve the country, rather than just, I hate this person, please don't vote for him. Have some ideas. The Lincoln Project claims their mission is to defeat President Trump and Trumpism at the ballot box. Their full mission reads, "We do not undertake this task lightly, nor from ideological preference." Really? You're not doing this from an ideological point of view? Really? Well, okay, I'll believe you. Many wouldn't, but I'm going to believe the hell out of you. Because, believe all women? Because that worked out well, didn't it, Biden? Our many policy differences with National Democrats remain. However, the priority of all patriotic Americans must be shared fidelity to the Constitution and a commitment to defeat those candidates who have abandoned their constitutional oaths. Regardless of party, electing Democrats who support the Constitution over Republicans who do not is a worthy effort. As far as I'm aware, Republicans are much better at upholding the Constitution than Democrats. That might just be me, but that's the impression I get from, news sources. Mostly non-biased news sources, because it is very, very, very hard to find a news source that isn't biased these days. That's why YouTube is so important, and no doubt why they're trying to kill off those news sources within YouTube, because, they don't want anyone to say something that's different from the mainstream narrative. It's getting pretty serious now too, so it's starting to feel pretty Orwellian in here. The organisation includes George Conway, Reed Galen, Jennifer Horn, Mike Madrid, Steve Schmidt, Ron Steslow, John Weaver, and Rick Wilson. And then we have a look at Ruffalo's past, because Mark Ruffalo says some nutty things, proper nutty things, and hangs out with some crazy people, as we'll see in just a second. Ruffalo is well known for his political leanings and activism, and dislike for President Trump and his policies. Back in March 2019, Ruffalo revealed he was teaming up with Michael Moore for 2020 Blue Deluge. Yeah, crazy. Teaming up with Michael Moore. And I don't know what's happened to Michael Moore, but he seems to have gone completely and utterly psycho. He is so left field that I'm not even sure he knows what he's saying anymore. I'm not sure he ever knew what he was saying. Maybe he just drifts with the wind, wherever his friends drag him. Maybe there's a rope around his neck, they're just pulling him along. Come on, Michael, over here to the left. Very, very strange guy. And I think he made a book about stupid white men, and then became one. More recently, Ruffalo took issue with protesters wanting to open up the American economy. He questioned, "It makes you wonder what people consider to be good, right, and kind-hearted." He added, "What is actually at the soul of America? Is it actually good? Is it actually righteous and fair-spirited?" He answers his question saying, "This is perverse." And you can see the Twitter statement here. Yes, you're very, very strange, Mark. You don't want other people to have money because, well, you're a bit set, aren't you? You're not really worrying about money. You're kind of fine in your, no doubt, 5-bedroom mansion with massive grounds and probably servants and people who deliver your food to you, so you don't have to go out into the wild world and risk your own life. Not that I think there's much risk out there. Certainly not for Mark. I mean, he's a normal kind of guy. Don't see why he'd feel himself particularly at risk. And people are starving, Mark. You don't want them to open the economy, but how many Americans are going to starve because of all this? Not everyone is going to be able to get job seekers allowance or whatever the American version is. Some people are going to be made homeless. They're going to be out on the streets because they can't work. What the hell is your solution? Don't just say stupid crap. Come up with an idea. Ruffalo also tried to shame President Trump on Twitter earlier this month. He wrote, "Dear Donald Trump, a decent leader would put his attention on those families and loved ones and mark the importance of their grief and loss." He added, "You dishonor these Americans by focusing on your past grievances. Be thoughtful. Just a suggestion. Be presidential." And that's in reply to this tweet from Trump. When are the fake journalists who received unwarranted Pulitzer Prizes for Russia, Russia, Russia and the impeachment scam going to turn in their tarnished awards so they can be given to the real journalists who got it right? I'll give you the names. There are plenty of them. How is what Mark Ruffalo said even slightly related to what Donald Trump is talking about? Donald Trump talks about fake news a lot. He's had good reason to because of all the goddamn fake news. If the journalists had been, honourable, tried to do their job, factual, as you would hope journalists would be, he wouldn't have had to keep yelling fake news. Things would have turned out rather differently, and he would not be at loggerheads now with the journalists. Which maybe all began because he likes his Twitter and decided not to have, like Obama did, a whole group of people going around making all his news for him and telling him what to say. It's rather nice to actually have a leader that just says what's on his mind. You should be grateful you actually get to hear what he's actually thinking. We rarely get to see that over here in the UK. We've had a bit of a change with our current Prime Minister, but who knows how that's going to go. Boris Johnson's doing a pretty good job so far, and I like the fact that he's fun, he says what he thinks, but he's also a diplomat, like most politicians. Trump, on the other hand, not really a diplomat, just says what he thinks. It's good stuff. It's always good to know where you stand. And Mark Ruffalo stands somewhere far, far to the left of sense. We all know that Donald Trump feels this way about all the people that have died within his country. Of course he does. All Americans are very, very sad about the people that have died and wish that none of this had happened. But if you want to blame someone, Mark, why don't you look a little further east? In February, Ruffalo spoke to The Independent, where he called Donald Trump public enemy number one. Ruffalo stated, "Everything that came out of his mouth is a lie. This dude is standing in the way of anything significant happening in the world as far as climate change is concerned. This is all up to debate because there is a lot going on and we can't believe particularly everything that we hear. There are a lot of celebrities jumping on this climate change bandwagon, and yes, we do obviously need to do something about the way we've treated the Earth. We could all do with doing things a little differently. I recycle reasonably well, occasionally, most of the time. I actually do it. But that's about what you can do individually. It's up to big government to actually change certain things. But climate change is not really a thing. People like to scream and shout about it because, people like to act righteous and as if they're doing the world some good. I've been listening to vegans blithering on about the fact that we should stop eating animals. Don't eat meat. And yet we've already proven that plants feel pain to some degree. And that's what they're really concerned about. Oh, you poor animals. Yeah, poor animals that if we stop eating meat will kill virtually most of them. Certainly there'll be very few cows and things like that left in the world. We'll be back into the state of horses where we're just keeping them just for the fun of it. But that means there's going to be a hell of a lot less of them. A hell of a lot less of them. Can you imagine how many fewer horses there are now that we don't need them to pull vehicles and ride from place to place? There would have been a lot more horses in the past, but we don't need all them horses now. And if we suddenly all stopped eating meat, what would we do with all those animals? We couldn't just leave them there, eating all that grass that would have to be used for growing stuff. Where would they have to go? I wonder. It's a quandary. Maybe more importantly is that Ruffalo's criticism of President Trump does appear to come from his desire to radically alter the United States of America. Last December he called for an economic revolution, claiming that capitalism today is failing us, killing us, and robbing from our children's future. Ruffalo, you're a complete nutter and an idiot. Capitalism is what's made you rich. It's made your children, if you haven't checked, able to go to the best colleges and schools. It's what keeps food on your table all the time. It's what gives you that nice big house that it's so comfortable to spend all this time in lockdown. Ah, man, celebrities are absolute wastes of space most of the time. It's a good thing they occasionally make films worth watching, because otherwise, Mark, there would be no use for you at all. Bring back Edward Norton, all is forgiven. This movie sucks, and when will they please replace this guy? Because the Incredible Hulk in both Infinity Wars and Endgame was pathetic. We don't need this crap. Let's have a good Hulk back. Signing out. Leave a like, share, subscribe. I will catch you guys on the flip side.